Namo Namaha Bhaktam Sarvesham Hardam Swagatam. Welcome back to my channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you are doing great. I am also good. And continuing in a series learning Sanskrit through Gita, today we will decode two shlokas together. That is the 43rd and the 44th shloka of the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. And again, Arjuna is building up on what he said in the last shloka, what we saw in the last shloka, basically giving the same context that when the dharma declines and the adharma arises, then all sorts of cardinal sins they start prevailing in the society. And one such sin that he pointed out in the last shloka is intermixing of varnas. And please, we discussed that in the last video also. This varna system and the caste system that prevails in the modern day India, please don't interchange these terms. Varna system is completely different than caste system. So don't see it in that light. Intermixing of varna simply means varna maintains a social order in a society. If they are intermixed, then the entire social order will melt down, will break down. So that what he meant in the last shloka. He is just continuing and giving few more repercussions of intermixing of varnas in this particular shlokas. So both the shlokas that we'll decode today, we'll see just that. So anyways, a simple shloka, easy shloka to identify. Let us directly dive in today's video. So these are the two shlokas that we will decode today. Let me go through the shlokas once. Sankaro narkayaiva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pituro kshesham lupta pindodak kriyaha. And then the 43rd shloka goes like Doshai retahi kulagnanam varna sankara karakahi utsadyante jati dharmaha kul dharmascha shashvataha. Okay, so these were the shlokas, and this here again is the Sandhi Vichhed version of the shloka. So narkayaiva, it opens as narkay eva, and same thing here, kshesham. Okay, so this particular word, no, this word, don't pronounce it as Shyosham, because if you remove the anuswar and put this anunasik, this, so it may look like that it is a O. It is a O swara, and you can pronounce it as Kyosham, that ha with a ya and then O. But it is not so. It is Kyesham. Why? Because you have a ha, and in that ha you have a ya attached. So this is a single akshara now. Ha with a ya attached. Similarly, if you have a bha and you attach this ra on it, and if you put this a, so it is bre, it is not bro. So that is what is happening here also. So you have a ha and there is a ya attached to it, and then you have a this swara, a swara on it. So kshesham. So please don't confuse it as kyosham. It is kshesham. Ha with a ya, kshesham. Okay. But anyways, kshesham, it opens as he and esham. Again, this there is a yarn sandhi that is happening here. And if you take a look at the 43rd shloka also, so there is a rutu sandhi that is happening here. Doshahi etahi. It combines as doshai retahi. The ra comes, rutu sandhi. And some sandhi is happening here also. This is satu sandhi. Okay. All these sandhi details, as usual, is in the PDF file. You can download the PDF file from the link in the description box. Besides from the sandhi rules, it also has the word by word breakdown of all the words that are present in this shloka. So if I miss out anything in the video, you will definitely find it in the PDF file. Download it and keep it for your ready reference. But for now, let us start decoding the shloka. And we are going to start with this word, sankaraha. So actually we generally start with a verb, no, a kriya. But since in this particular shloka, you do have a kriya, patanti. But this will come later, the second line. So this first line does not have a kriya as such, but there is an implied kriya, an implied verb that we'll see actually. So sankaraha, this I hope you remember from the last shloka. This means the mix-up, the intermixing, right? And in the bracket, in the parenthesis I have written, is the cause. So is the cause, this is like an implied sense that sankaraha, this causes something. So this is like a reason or the cause of whatever it causes. And whatever it causes, we are going to decode it now. So I am just putting it in a parenthesis because it is not explicitly mentioned. It is implied in the context of the shloka, in the meaning of the shloka. Okay. So sankara, that is mix up. And then you will have a question that for what? That I write it that this mix up of varnas, this is the cause. This is the instrument. So you are obviously going to ask me that this is a cause or a reason for what? Kasmai. And the reason we get from the shloka is narkayai eva. So ev, you know, ev is indeed. Just to put some emphasis on it. Indeed, or in Hindi we say no, he. Okay. So and narkayai, this is our keyword here. which is coming from the Pratipadik Naraka. And Narak, so hell, or in spiritual sense, you can think of it as a downgraded level of a spiritual soul. So you have this loka, then all the lokas, all the realms that are below this loka, this world. So all those lower realms. So basically, in that sense, but a very literal translation of Narak is hell. We use this word in Hindi also, Narak. So Narakaye. So I hope you can relate this Shabdaroop. Ram changes into Ramayai. Balak changes into Balakayai. So this is obviously the fourth case. The fourth case, fourth vibhakti and singular, ekvachan. And Narkayai, this will mean for Narak, right? For hell, actually. For hell, because ke liye, for. Okay, and if we'll read the entire sentence now, Sankaraha Narkayeva Karanaha. And this again, Karanaha, that is the cause or the reason I'm putting it in parenthesis because this is implied here. So Sankaraha Narkayeva Karana. What it means to say is that the mix up of Varnas, this is the cause for damnation to hell. Okay, so essentially what I means is that this mix up of varnas, whenever this happens in any society, then be sure that all these sins will lead you to the doorstep of hell. That is what Arjuna is trying to imply here. And if you'll move on, Sukkasya, that for damnation to hell, but for who you are talking about this? Who will be damned to hell? And the response we get from Shloka is Kulasya Narkayeva. So kulasya, you can already sense the word here. This word, this pratipadak, we are already seeing in every shloka from past so many shlokas. Kula. Kula simply refers to the family. Okay, the family, the clan, you can also look at it in this way. The clan, the family lineage, in all these sense. Okay, our family lineage, that is our kul. That is how we use this word, our kula. So, kulasya narkayeva karanaha iti sankaraha. Okay, and that is what I've mentioned here also. That the damnation to hell of the entire family lineage. And Arjuna mentions one more thing here. That is why Kesham Cha. And who else? He mentions one more party that will be damned to hell. And that is Kulagna Nama. So see, he is using this and. Kulagna Nama Kulasya Cha. So Kulagna Naam, this is coming from this main word Gna. So this is half Gha and Na, Gna. And this means destroyer or murderer or killer in that sense. Where here destroyer, this contextually makes more sense. And then destroyer of what? So destroyer of the families. So I can write that Kulasya Gna. Kulas simply means of family, of the entire clan, of the entire family lineage. So one who is the destroyer of the family, Kulaksya iti Kulagna. We can combine this word and in Samas, this word becomes this one single word, Kulagna. Kulagna is one who is a destroyer of the family, right? And I want to say that this damnation to hell, this will happen not just to the entire family, but also to those who are the destroyers of the family lineage. So damnation to hell of entire family and cha of the destroyers of the family. So I want to say of these people also. So I am basically obviously going to use the sixth case and plural. Why plural? Because talking about all the people who will be involved in this thing, that all the people who are the destroyers, who are the disruptors of this family lineage. So sixth case plural, kunagna, this will change into kulagna naam. We have seen this kind of form a lot of times before also. Balak will change into balaka naam of all the boys. But anyways, that is how we arrive at this word. And the entire meaning here now, Sankaraha kulagna naam kulasya cha narkayeva karanaha, simply means that the mix-up of varnas is the sole reason, is the very reason for the damnation to hell of Kulagna Naam, of the destroyers of the family and the family also, the destroyed family also. That is what Arjuna is saying here. But now you may ask a question that okay, the damnation to hell of the destroyers of family, this makes sense because they are committing a crime, they are murdering, they are killing. It makes sense. But why this kula? Why the entire family is also damned to hell? Basically, they are the victims, right? But why they are also damned to hell? So he further continues for this point and says, you see this word he. So he sometimes also means because or kyunki, as we say in Hindi. So he continues this chain of thought and then says he patanti, and again he means kyunki or because, that because patanti, they all fall. So this is now our main verb here. This obviously is coming from the dhatu pat. Pat dhatu means to fall. Okay. Vrakshat phalani patanti. From the trees, the fruits, they fall. So in that sense, pat to fall. But here you can think of this fall as a symbolic fall, as a spiritual fall, right? It is not a physical fall. Here in the context you will see it is more like a symbolic fall, or in a way that a downgrade will happen, a downgrade will ensue in that sense. Okay, so a symbolic fall in that sense. And this pat dhatu, you can already see this form, right? This is a third person plural. We got patati patataha patanti, and a simple present tense lat lakar. Okay, so in these three forms, this pat changes into patanti. So he is continuing this what he said in the first line by that because they all fall. Now the question is obviously that who all fall? So K, who all fall? And the response is pitaraha patanti. Pitaraha. And pitaraha, this means forefathers. Forefathers, or you can also think that this means ancestors. Okay, ancestors of a family lineage. Pitaraha. This particular word pitaraha, this is coming from the pratipadik pitra. Pitra. This is a rikarant word because it is ending with a this ri. It is ending with this swara, right? Ri. So it is a rikarant word. Pitra. Pitra basically means father. Okay. And here pitraha, this form is used. This is the first case, prathama vibhakti, plural form. Because obviously he's talking about all the forefathers. So plural form and first case. So in first case plural, pitra changes into pitraha. This is what we saw see in the shloka. The first case singular form, the ekvachan form of this word is a very common Hindi word we use for our father, pita. Now, I hope you can see here, pita. This is a very common Hindi word. Pita, that means father. Coming from this word only, pitra. Okay. But anyways, by pitra, he just does not mean the father or just the male figures. He is essentially referring to all the ancestors, whether male or female. It is like a common term, a general term. So, and he says that pitraha patanti, that those people, those deceased people, their souls will fall. As I said, no, this is a symbolic patanti. So now you can see that it is not physically they are falling. It is just that their soul will symbolically fall, or their soul will downgrade, a spiritual downgrade of their souls. Okay, and then he also mentions this reason, like he uses it as an adjective, but here in this adjective there is a reason also that why the forefathers they will fall, and that reason is lupt pindodak kriyaha. That is how he is describing this pitraha. So lupt, this word means disappearance, or it can also means deprived of. Lupt is deprived of. If something has disappeared, then obviously whoever related to that thing, they are deprived of that thing now. So lupt here can be used in the sense deprived of. And deprived of what? So pindodak kriyaha. This is the main word here. So this word pindodak, this is actually again a samas. This essentially have two words, pind and udak. So pind here, this means rice balls. Okay, and udak, this means water. So when you combine these two, a guna sandhi happens. That is why pind plus udak changes into pindodak. Okay, and kriya, this essentially means a ritual. Kriya here means a ritual or a rite, a ceremonial rite. Okay, kriya here. Now what is pindodak kriya? So pindodak kriya simply means there is a ceremonial ritual, that an offering made of rice balls and water that is given to the deceased members of the family, that is our forefathers, our ancestors. This is done so that their soul can reach a higher state and can attain mukti, can attain moksha. That is the highest goal of our life as per the Sanatan Dharma. So that their souls can attain mukti, can be liberated, and also that the blessings of our forefathers, of our ancestors can stay with us. Because we are maintaining these traditions and these practices, what they taught us, and we are maintaining them, and not just maintaining, we are rightfully performing them in their correct way, in their correct things. So it is a win-win for both of them, that their souls, they get liberated, and we get their blessings, our ancestors' blessings. So this is a kriya that is done. That is what he is referring to. And he is saying lupt, that is deprived of. And that is why he is saying pitraha patanti. That basically he's saying that whenever an adharma prevails in a society, and when the entire social order of the society has collapsed, then all these traditions, all these practices are also lost. And if not lost, then the meaning, the correct way of doing them is definitely lost. And that is what Arjuna is saying, that when this happens, then that family, those who destroyed the family, all of them are damned to hell. Why? Because he further continues, because even their forefathers, their spiritual fall happens, because they are deprived of these essential ceremonial rites that are mentioned by our shastras, that needs to be done for their souls and for ourselves also. So that is what Arjuna is saying, that when these pitraha are deprived, are looked of such ceremonial rites, pindoda kriya, where we offer this, what we offer right now. The more important thing is, these ceremonial rites carry some value, and when you do not perform them, all these values, all the results that would have been achieved by these rites and rituals, that will also get lost. So all our forefathers who are deprived of such essential ceremonial rites, they too witness a spiritual fall. The entire family and those who destroyed the family, they are also for sure damned to hell. That is what Arjuna is making. Again, he is giving all the different excuses, not excuses actually, all the different reasons to Shri Krishna, that why this fight and whatever will pursue, the chain reaction of events that will happen after this war, that will be disastrous, catastrophic. That is what he is just giving examples here. Okay, but I hope the word here, Pindoda, Kriya and Lupt, all these words are clear for you now. Okay, but let us move on. Okay, so you have this word, no, Esham. So this is just whose forefathers. So obviously he's talking about these people only, all these people who are involved in who are killed and killing. So Esham is just of these people. Okay, this is coming from the pronoun etad. Etad means this, right? And I want to say of these people, of these. So obviously I'm using the sixth case and plural. And in sixth case plural, this etad changes into esham. Okay, so I hope all these words, esham, luptupindoda, kriya, pitra, all these words are clear. Patanti. Okay, so this is what he's saying in the first shloka, and then he continues that chain of thought. So let us start decoding the second shloka now. And here we have a definitive kriya pad. So we'll start with that only. Utsadyante. You can see here. Utsadyante jati dharmaha. So utsadyante, this simply means are destroyed. So multiple things, what things we'll see, what all is happening, but all those things are destroyed, because this is coming from the ut here. And by now you should also try to identify these prefixes, because there are only handful of prefix in Sanskrit. So whenever you see one, you try to identify and try to remove that first, because once you remove the prefix, then you will start to see the this verb root, what verb root is being happening there. So just try to identify mentally these prefixes. But anyways, utsadyante, this is coming from ut is the prefix and sad is the dhatu. And sad again means to destroy. The best contextual use of this verb root right now, you can take this, to destroy. Actually, it also means to wither, to lose power, in all those sense. So you can also see in that sense also that all these traditions and values and these rituals, they lose, but they are losing power, they are losing their value, they are getting dissolved, they are getting withered. So in all those sense you can also see, but the more apt context we can take here is to destroy. And this particular dhatu is being modified using nich pratyay. Nich pratyay, I hope you remember this pratyay, nich. So nich pratyay is when whoever is doing the action, so that result is not on him, but he is causing that action to happen. So balakah patati, so the boy studies, that is his action. So we use the dhatu pat. But when I say that adhyapakah pathyati, so what I do, I modify this dhatu pat using this nich suffix, because the adhyapaka, the teacher here, is causing someone else to study, or essentially he's teaching. So we modify pat dhatu using nich. So pathyati, it becomes pathyati. That is what the sense here is, nich suffix. Okay, we have seen this in before shlokas also. So sad means to destroy, and we are modifying this dhatu using nich pratyay. And then this entire verb root is in third case, obviously plural, and same, lat lakar. But a difference here is, this is in karmani prayoga. And again, I hope you remember this karmani prayoga. Karmani prayoga is basically passive voice. What we have in English, passive voice, right? Because the deer was killed by Ram. So was killed. When we use the passive voice construct, we use the karmani prayoga, the karmani form of the verb. And that is what is happening. So third case plural lat lakar, that is okay. But we are not using the common. So we are not using pathanti. If the pat was the dhatu, patati patataha pathanti, that pathanti is a normal way. If we are going to change it into the karmani prayoga, the passive voice, that pathanti, instead of that, we will use pathyante. Pathyate, pathyete, pathyante. And now you can see the similarity in the form. Pathyante. And here also, utsadyante. So this is the karmani, the passive form of the verb, because the entire construction of this shloka, this shloka is a passive voice construct. Okay, so utsadyante, and that means are destroyed. That is what we are starting with. I hope this verb is clear. Let us move on. And now the obvious question will be what all? What all are destroyed? And the response we get is jati dharmaha kul dharmaha cha. That jati dharma and cha kul dharma. So dharma here is the common word, you can already see. And again, dharma, by this point you will know, dharma basically means all the set of values, all traditions, all rituals, all these values that pass from generation to generations, all these traditions and values that help a person lead a righteous life, a good life, a moral, ethical life. So that is dharma, all the set of those principles. And again, talking about all the dharma, so plural, dharmaha. Okay, and the difference is jati dharma and kul dharma. So kul, you know, kul means family. So all the traditions and values of a family, of entire family. So that is kul dharma. And what is jati dharma? So all the traditions and values of an entire race. So all the values that are followed, that are passed on to generation within a single family, family lineage, that becomes kul dharma, and which is followed in a more broader sense by the entire race, that becomes jati dharma. Okay, so he's talking about all those traditions and values essentially that prevails in a society. And he says that all these values and traditions, they will utsadyante, they are destroyed. They are going to be destroyed. They are destroyed. Okay, and if further, Arjuna further describes them. That is why Kidrishaha, what like. So there is an adjective he uses to describe them, and that adjective is this Shashwataha. So obviously the Pratipadik here is Shashwat, because here we are using the first case plural form Dharmaha. So the adjective also will be in plural form first case. So Shashwataha. Shashwat essentially means something that is eternal. But here in the context, it means something that is age long or continual. Okay, and that is why Arjuna is saying them Shashwataha, that all these age long, all these continual traditions and values, they are destroyed. Okay, so far we have seen this, but let us continue now. And the question now is Kahi. Kahi is by what? So, by what all these values are destroyed? And Etahi doshahi. So, this obviously is the main word here. The Pratipadik is dosha. And dosha, this means sin. Sin or crime. Okay, in both the sense. Dosha means sin or crime or fault. All these words. Dosha. Obviously, this is the third case plural use. Because I want to say that all these jati dharma, kul dharma, they are destroyed by dosha. And by not a single sin, by multiple sins. So by all the sins. So since I want to say by all the sins, so third case plural. And in third case plural, this word, this pratipadik dosha, it changes into doshahi. Doshahi. That is what is happening here. That by sins, all these things are destroyed. And this use, etahi, this is just the pronoun. That by these sins, by all these sins, these things are destroyed. So etahi. Obviously, this is coming from this pratipadik etat pronoun. This pronoun means this. And since I want to say by these sins, so obviously this pronoun also will take the same form as its noun. So this will also change into third case plural. And in third case plural, etat, this also becomes etahi. Okay, and if we'll further move on, he is also giving another adjective that these doshas, these sins, what kind of sins are these? So he's describing these sins. So Varna Sankar Karakahi, the main word, the Pratipadik here is Varna Sankar Karak. And Varna Sankar you already know by now. Varna Sankar is intermixing of Varnas. Okay. Karak. Karak simply means something that is an instrument, something that is instrumental to this, or something that is the means. That is a means to do this. So Varna Sankar Karaka simply means something that is instrumental in bringing this Varna Sankar, in bringing this intermixing of Varnas. Okay, so this dosha, this sins, he is just, Arjuna described these sins, that what kind of sins he's talking about, and he's talking about Varna Sankar Karak. That all those sins that are instrumental, that are Karaka in intermixing of Varnas. So all these sins, they will destroy what? Jati Dharma and Kul Dharma. That is what he means. We have already seen that. And in the end, he's again just reiterating his point, Kesham, of who all? That all these sins, this dosha, of who? So obviously we have seen this, Kulagna now. That all these sins that are committed by Kulagna, and we have seen this word before. Kulagna is someone who destroys a family lineage. And all these sins of such people. So Kulagna Naam, we have already seen this. A sixth case plural form. Okay, and with this we have completed both the shlokas. Let us see the translation along with the Anvaya. Okay, so Anvaya goes like this. Sankarha, that is mix up of Varnas, Karanaha. That is the implied sense that Sankara, this mix up of Varnas, is the reason, is the Karanaha. For what? For this Narkayev. For damnation of who? Kulasya and Kulagna Nam. So damnation of the family and of the destroyers of the family to hell. Narkaya, or for hell. So damnation to hell. And he further continues by giving this reason, for even the Pitraha, even their forefathers. Whose forefathers? All these people that mentioned, Kul and Kulagnana, even their forefathers, Pitraha, they patanti, they fall. Why do they fall? Because they are lupt, they are deprived. They are deprived of what? They are deprived of the pindodak kriyaha. They are deprived of a ceremonial rite, a ritual where pind and udak, the rice bowl and the water, is offered to them. Essentially, he means that owing to the disappearance of the necessary rites and offerings, even the spiritual fall of their forefathers happen. So if their forefathers are witnessing a spiritual fall, then obviously one who are involved in those actions, one who are committing that actions, they are obviously going to hell. That is what he means here. Okay, and then he further continues in the next shloka that by these sins, that is here, doshahi, etahi doshahi, by these sins, and what kind of sins are these? Varna Sankar Karak. That all these sins which are instrumental Karaka to the intermixing of Varnas. By all these sins, the Shashwata Jati Dharma cha Kul Dharma, the age-long Shashwat, the age-long traditions and practices of a Kula, that is family, and Jati Dharma, of the race, of the entire race, all these values, utsadyante, all these values are destroyed. That is what he means. And so that was it. That was the entire decoding of both the shlokas. And contextually, I hope you get the point Arjuna is trying to make here, that he says that once a adharma prevails in a society, this chain reaction that ensues, it not just affects this current generation that was involved in this mishappening, but the entire family lineage. So the coming generations also, it affects that, them also, and also the ancestors, what we saw in this particular shloka. That all these sins, they are going to affect their spiritual progress also of our ancestors, because once all these necessary ceremonial rites are gone, they are disappeared, the traditions, the values, all are disappeared, the social order, intermixing of varnas, the entire social order of a society is collapsed. All these things severely affect the entire spiritual growth of everyone that is involved. And that is a thing, because in Sanatan Dharma, this spiritual progress is the main thing. And that is why this moksha and this mukti is focused on so much. That this spiritual growth of an individual is very necessary. And if all these traditions and values are gone, that growth is surely going for a toss. So yeah, that was what Arjuna meant by the shloka. And again, we saw many different words, how they are being used. I hope all the words, their meanings, their use was clear to you. The PDF file is there. Download that PDF file and go through it, because there are 2 shlokas, so a lot of words. Go through that PDF file also. It will be better for your own understanding. I'll meet you in the next shloka with the next video. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy. Vayam punamilamaha. Dhanyavad.